Good morning, I'm Bryan Lorenson, Geoprobe Service Center, Salina, Kansas. This morning we're going to work on the GH40 power cell for the GH40 family of hammers. This hammer is used on our 420Ms and our 5400 family of equipment. First thing we're going to do is, the guys have already moved the hammer from the unit for me this morning. We're going to discharge the hammer to start with because we don't want any accidents. So the first thing you want to do is get the nitrogen out. So we're going to set it up in the vise and discharge the hammer. It's okay to clamp the cast housing of the hammer in a vise because you're not going to damage it. You'll need a 3/4 inch socket, a deep socket preferably to get down into the charge valve chamber to loosen the base valve. Usually you would hear nitrogen coming out by now, but this hammer apparently does not have any in it. The next thing we're going to do is take the mounting plate off, and you'll need a 15/16 socket to do that. Now we've removed the mounting plate. The next thing I like to do is take the rods out, and I usually use a pair of vice grips to remove the rods. Now that we got the rods out, we're going to take the vent assembly off the top of the hammer because there's a keeper pin in the top of the accumulator housing that holds everything together. It'll take an Allen wrench to remove that keeper. It's a 1/4 inch Allen wrench. And there's the keeper pin. Now we're ready to pull it apart. I use a chain vice grip to grab a hold of the barrel. And if you're good, the assembly will pull right off. Sometimes. Now we have the piston and the flow sleeve away from the assembly. On your accumulator valve here, you've got 2 small pins. Watch for them when you take it apart that you don't lose them. If you don't have a puller, you can use your vice grips and a clean cloth to grab a hold of this lip right here. Not too tight, but enough to hang on to it. And you can grab a hold of your motor valve and work it out. Here are 2 small pins that come from the motor valve. Now we're ready to remove the accumulator housing from inside the top cast housing. The accumulator housing inside here, if you had it with you, if you had a rod about 12 inches long that had half fine threads on it, you could screw it into the top of the chamber and drive it out. I don't have one with me today, so we're going to do it the old way. We got a 4x4 block of wood on the bench. We're going to take the cast housing and we're going to aim this side down on the block of wood, and we're going to drop it. As we see, our accumulator housing came out this far for us. What's holding it in place is the O-ring inside of here. It's keeping it from coming all the way out. So I'm going to take a long rod right now and tap it from the top side. So I'm going to grab a rod and go and do that. The accumulator housing is starting to come apart from itself, which is okay. Again, we grab the chain vice grips and grab a hold of it, and we can pull this chamber out. Now we have separated the accumulator housing. This is your diaphragm here. We'll talk about it in a minute. This part of the accumulator housing is still in the chamber. Grab your vice grips again, a good cloth. Not too tight as to mar the metal, but tight enough that you can grab a hold of it. Push it back a little bit. Just like that. Now we're ready to clean up all the components to reassemble the hammer power cell with new seals in it. One important thing to look at is we're going to look at the piston itself, and what we're checking for on the piston is we're checking for scoring down here or a lot of rust. on the seal surface down here on this piston, and as well as up here in the upper portion in here. We're looking for rust and scoring, and we're looking for rust, pitting, and scoring here. This one here is not a good piston because there's too much rust here for me in the seal surface range from here to here. So we'll have to get a new piston to put into this hammer. We're going to go ahead and remove the diaphragm off of the dog bone portion of the accumulator housing. I usually use a utility knife to cut it if it's not already split out. Now I've got it off of the dog bone. I know you can't always do it in the field, but right now I'm going to head over to the solvent tank and we're going to wash all this parts up and then get them ready to reassemble back in the hammer. Okay, now we're ready to remove our upper housing from the vise and set it on the bench for reassembly. While you weren't looking, I took time to wash all these parts up in the solvent tank and clean them up. The tie rods, what I like to do is I like to hit them with a wire wheel to clean the threads up on both ends of them. Makes reassembly a lot nicer. For assembling it back together, I like doing it with the cast housing upside down. Before we start putting the components into it, I want to put our accumulator diaphragm back together that we took apart. First, we'll start by putting the rubber diaphragm back on the dog bone. Now we've got the accumulator diaphragm. It fits right between here and on the base of this collar right here. Normally we'll put a little lubrication on here, and that's what we're going to do now. I've got white lithium grease today. You can use bearing grease or you can use a little hydraulic fluid. And it doesn't take much, it just takes a little bit right here on the beginning edge. Now, you just want to make sure you don't have any rust build up in here. If you do, you'll want to take a emery cloth and clean it up, or a Scotch-Brite. For reassembling, I set it on the bench. I flip it upside down, get it set in place. And then I'll take my old piston and set it inside the accumulator housing, and we can drive it into place. When you get a solid sound and your chamber is back together. Inside the cast housing here, there's a hole in the upper side up here, and that is where your bypass tube goes into it, and that's what we'll be putting into the hammer next. You have two little O-rings that come in your seal kit for it. One goes on each end of it in the groove. Again, a little grease. Always stick the long end in first, and you can see it there inside the chamber. Now we're ready to put the O-ring on here. We have 4 O-rings, and they're 2 different sizes. 3 of them are the same size and 1 smaller. The smaller one goes onto your accumulator housing. It's in place, and we're ready to put the housing into the chamber. Now we've got to make this here line up with the tube that's in the housing. If you look at the opposite end here, you'll see you have 2 pinholes. This pinhole here lines up with our chamber hole here, so that gives us an alignment to line up with our pin in the cast housing. As you can see, this lines up about the center of this, so we should be good to drive it in. Again, I use the piston. Again, till we hear a solid bit. Now that we've got this into the chamber, we're ready to put the seals into the accumulator housing. We've got a backup ring and we've got our cup seal. The aluminum backup ring goes in first, and when you put your cup seal in, your cup seal has 2 surfaces. You got a smooth surface on one side and you've got a cup surface on the other. The cup surface, when you put the seal in, always faces you so that the cup is facing the oil in the chambers. And there we have our cup seal in place. Next, we're going to put in our spacer washer. It's our thin washer. Again, I'm going to put a little grease on it to hold it in place. Now we're ready for our automatic valve. And the question I always get, where do my little pins go in my automatic valve? Your pins will go in this hole right here and this hole right here in the automatic valve. And when you put them in, you'll notice that the pins have a machined surface and a rounded surface. The rounded surface goes into the valve assembly. The machined surface always faces you. I have our O-ring on our motor valve, and I have our pins in place. And you'll notice that there's a roll pin on here for a guide pin. I always put it between two of the rod bolts on the side of the cast housing. Now we're ready to put the motor valve in. I grab a block of wood so I don't hit the metal surface. Now we're set in the chamber. You know you're all the way in when your spacer washer's tight in here. Now we're ready to slide the inner part of the valve in. Next, we're ready to set our new piston in. As you can see, nice smooth surfaces, no rust on the surfaces. Piston set. Now we're ready to put our flow valve in. Again, you'll see it has 4 holes, larger holes, and that's for our 4 pins that go into it. Round surface, machine surface. Machine surface faces you. Now we're ready to slide our flow tube on, and you'll see that there's an alignment hole right here. That's where this roll pin will set. Now we're ready to put our outer tube on. And usually, if it's got the labels on it, I'll try and make sure that they face the front side of the hammer. Now we've got the tube seated in place, and we're ready to put our tie rods on. Okay, now I will grab and snug up the rods. Now we're ready to build the lower assembly. If you have a hammer that's just leaking out the bottom end and it's holding nitrogen, you can get just the lower seal kit and put into the lower adapter plate, and that usually takes care of that problem. We put the wiper seal in first, then the spacer ring, and again, your cup seal, and it goes in with the cup facing you. Now we're ready to put our O-ring onto our base assembly. This assembly is open on one end and plugged on the other. You want the plug to face the front of the hammer assembly, so if it does leak down here, it doesn't leak right out into the surface of your work area. It leaks out the backside, and you catch it with an absorbie or something so you can work on the hammer. This is kind of tough to get back on because you're going against the cup seal. Now we're set together. You will notice there's a little bit of a gap right here between the base and the chamber here. That's okay, that's nothing wrong with that. Now we're ready to put our nuts back on and torque them to 45 foot-pounds. So we're going to go back to the vise. Now we're ready to put our nuts back on. I usually put them on snug and then I torque them down, and I do it in a crisscross pattern. Okay, now that I've got them all snug, I'm ready to torque them. And then I check them again. And now we're ready to put our upper assembly back together on our hammer. We'll start by putting our vent tube nut back in. Next thing is to put your charge valve back in, screw it in snug. And now we're ready to put our vent back on the top. And now we have a GH40 hammer that we've rebuilt. We're ready to reinstall on the unit. And if you have any questions when you're doing it, please feel free to give us a call here in the service center. Any one of us will be glad to give you a hand via the phone with your project working on your GH40 hammer. Thank you.